Captain William Carter sat in his command chair on the bridge of the U.S. Defiant. The ship was Earth's most advanced warship, built to protect humanity as they reached for the stars. Today, they had a different mission. They were sent to meet the Galactic Council for the first time. Earth wanted peace, not war. Carter looked at the main screen. Stars moved past as the ship traveled at speeds that once seemed impossible. He had been captain for 5 years. The crew trusted him. He hoped he would not let them down on this important day. "Captain, I'm picking up strange signals," said Olivia Lane. She was the communications officer, the best at her job. Her fingers moved quickly over her console. "These are not normal messages. They sound like calls for help." Carter turned to her. "From who?" "The Council." "No, sir. From many different ships. They are under attack." Kevin Martinez, the tactical officer, spoke next. "Sir, my screens show a large battle happening near our path. Many ships are firing at each other. 2 different groups are fighting." "Can you tell who they are?" Carter asked. Martinez nodded. "Based on the ship designs, one side is the Arcturus Dominion. The other is the Orion Collective. Both are shooting at each other with very powerful weapons." Natalie Wright, the science officer, looked up from her station. "Captain, both these groups have technology far better than ours. Their engines, weapons, and shields are hundreds of years ahead of Earth science." Carter thought for a moment. Their orders were clear: meet the Council and establish friendly contact. Getting involved in an alien war was not part of the plan. It could even make Earth look bad to the Council. "Sir," Martinez called out, "some of the ships being attacked don't have weapons. They look like transport vessels, civilian ships." Carter's face grew serious. "You mean people are shooting at ships that can't fight back?" "Yes, sir. The Arcturus forces are targeting them on purpose." Carter stood up. His orders did not cover this situation, but he knew what was right. "We can't just watch innocent people die. Change course. Take us into the battle zone." "Sir," asked the pilot, "are you sure?" "Absolutely," Carter said. "Prepare all weapons. We're going to protect those civilian ships." The crew moved quickly. The Defiant turned toward the battle. No human ship had ever fought aliens before. No one knew if their weapons would even work against such advanced technology. The Defiant shot forward, engines burning bright. They came upon the battle suddenly. Dozens of ships fired at each other. Bright beams of energy crossed space. Explosions lit up the darkness. "Target the Arcturus ships attacking the transports," Carter ordered. "Fire when ready." The Defiant's weapons fired. Bright missiles and energy beams shot toward the alien warships. The human weapons hit their targets, and to everyone's surprise, they worked. The alien shields flickered under the attack. Both alien forces stopped firing at each other for a moment. All eyes turned to the new ship. No one had expected a third group to join the fight. "They're scanning us," Wright said. "I think we surprised them." "Sir, the civilian ships are trying to escape," Lane reported, "but more Arcturus ships are moving to cut them off." Carter nodded. "Stay between the attackers and the civilian ships. Martinez, keep firing. Show them we mean business." The Defiant moved forward, its weapons blazing. The human ship was smaller than the alien warships, but it moved faster and turned quicker. The Arcturus ships tried to hit it, but the Defiant avoided most of their shots. "They didn't expect us," Martinez said with a smile. "They don't know how to fight us yet. And we need to use that advantage while we have it," Carter replied. "All crew, battle stations. We're going to save those civilians and show the galaxy that humans protect the innocent." The Defiant flew between the massive alien ships, its weapons causing damage that should have been impossible. The first battle between humans and aliens had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The U.S. Defiant moved quickly between the damaged civilian ships and their attackers. Smoke poured from several wounds in the largest transport vessel. "We need to get those people out," Captain Carter said. "Prepare the rescue shuttles." The human rescue teams worked fast. They flew small shuttles to the damaged alien ship and brought survivors back to the Defiant. The aliens looked strange to human eyes. They had blue skin and 4 arms, but their faces showed the same fear that humans would feel in their place. Jack Peterson, the chief engineer, watched as the last group of aliens came aboard. One of them wore special clothes that marked him as important. "Who is that?" Peterson asked a nearby crew member. "His name is Zekthar," she answered. "He's some kind of diplomat for the Orion Collective. The captain wants you to meet him." Peterson followed the alien to the meeting room. Captain Carter and Amanda Collins, the intelligence specialist, were already there. "This is my chief engineer," Carter told Zekthar. "He can explain how our weapons affected your enemy's shields." Zekthar looked at Peterson with 3 blinking eyes. "Your weapons should not have worked. Our enemies have the best shields in the known galaxy. How did primitive humans break through them?" Peterson smiled. "Sometimes being primitive is an advantage. Your shields are designed to stop energy weapons like yours. Our missiles use old-fashioned explosives and metals. Your shields weren't made to stop something so simple." "Interesting," Zekthar said. "Simple weapons that work because they are simple." While they talked, Collins asked questions about the war. She learned that the Arcturus Dominion and Orion Collective had been fighting for over 300 years. Dozens of planets had been destroyed. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ship, Lieutenant Daniel Ross prepared his team. They wore space suits and carried weapons. "We're going to board the damaged enemy ship," he told them. "We need to get their technology and information. Be careful. We don't know what we'll find in there." The boarding party flew across space in a small shuttle. They entered the damaged Arcturus ship through a hole in its side. Inside, they found strange technology unlike anything on Earth. "Look at this," one soldier said. "Their computers are so advanced." Ross moved carefully through the ship. Suddenly, a wounded Arcturus soldier appeared and fired a weapon. The blast hit one of the humans in the chest. He fell down, not moving. "Take cover," Ross shouted. His team fired back, and the alien fell. Ross knelt beside the fallen human. "First human to die in an alien war," he said quietly. "Let's make sure he's the last." They gathered what they could and returned to the Defiant. As they arrived, alarms sounded across the human ship. "What's happening?" Ross asked as he ran to the bridge. Captain Carter pointed to the screen. Hundreds of Arcturus ships were moving into position around them. "They've created a quantum blockade. We're trapped behind enemy lines." "Can we break through?" Ross asked. Carter shook his head. "Not with that many ships. We need to find another way out." Peterson studied the readings. "The blockade technology is impressive. It might take weeks to find a weakness." Carter looked around at his crew. "Then we have a choice to make. We can hide and look for a way home, or we can keep fighting to protect innocent people." The mission was to make contact and return with information. Collins reminded him. "Earth needs to know about this war. But if we run and hide while civilians die, what kind of first impression will humanity make?" Carter asked. Zekthar watched them debate. No other species would risk themselves for strangers. These humans were different. "There are more civilian ships in danger," Zekthar said. "Many more innocents will die while your leaders decide what to do about this war." Carter nodded. "Then our path is clear. We'll find a way home eventually, but right now, there are people who need our help. The Defiant will continue to fight." The human crew prepared for more battles. They were far from home, facing enemies with superior technology. But they had something the Arcturus forces didn't expect: human ingenuity and the will to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. 3 days had passed since the Defiant was trapped behind enemy lines. The human ship moved like a ghost through the Arcturus territory, hiding when needed and fighting when there was no choice. On the bridge, Captain Carter watched as an Arcturus patrol passed by without noticing them. "Their sensors still can't track us properly," he said. They expect ships to use standard energy patterns, Natalie Wright explained. Our engines are different enough that we confuse their tracking systems. Zekthar stood nearby, watching the humans work. Your species adapts quickly, he said. The Arcturus commanders are furious. They cannot understand your tactics. Down in the medical bay, Susan Howard worked without rest. The ship's doctor moved between beds filled with injured aliens from the rescued transports. She had never trained to help four-armed blue beings, but she was learning fast. This medicine should help with the pain, she told an injured Orion child. She had mixed human painkillers with elements from the Orion medical supplies. The child's mother watched nervously. Will it hurt her? The mother asked. No, Howard said with a smile. Human medicine is different from yours, but we're finding ways to make them work together. The child's pain eased, and the mother relaxed. In the engineering section, Jack Peterson and his team worked with parts salvaged from the damaged Arcturus ship. They had connected alien power cells to human systems. Hand me that tool, Peterson said to an assistant. I think I can make this weapon twice as powerful if I connect it to our targeting computers. The door opened and an Orion engineer entered. Your methods are strange, he said, watching Peterson work. You connect systems that should not work together. Peterson smiled. That's what humans do best. We find ways to make things work. Together, they built new weapons that combined human and alien technology. The Arcturus forces would not expect such strange combinations. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Ross and intelligence specialist Collins studied information from the captured Arcturus computer systems. Look at this, Collins said, pointing to a message. The Arcturus commanders received orders to attack that civilian transport, but the orders don't come from their government. Ross leaned closer. Where do they come from? I don't know, but look at these similar messages to the Orion forces. She showed him more files. Both sides are getting secret orders from the same source. Someone is pushing them to fight. A third party wants this war to continue, Ross said. We need to tell the captain. Later that day, Captain Carter received an unexpected message. It came through a secret channel that Zekthar provided. This is Relena, a voice said. I represent those who seek peace. We have people inside both the Arcturus and Orion forces. We need your help. Who are you? Carter asked. We are the Resistance. For years, we have tried to end this war, but something keeps pushing our leaders to fight. Your arrival has created new hope. The human ship that fights for strangers has inspired many. Carter looked at his officers. What do you want from us? We need to meet. We can help you move through enemy territory safely. In return, we ask for your help to find who is really controlling this war. After ending the call, Carter faced his crew. We came here to make first contact. Now we're being asked to take sides in a war we barely understand. The evidence suggests neither side is fully responsible, Collins said. Someone else wants them fighting. If we help the Resistance, we might find a way home faster, Peterson added. Or we might make more enemies, Ross warned. Olivia Lane, who had been quiet, finally spoke. Captain, when we left Earth, we carried messages of peace. Maybe this is how we deliver them, by helping to end a war, not by fancy diplomatic words. Carter nodded. Contact this Relena. Tell them we'll meet. The Defiant may be just one ship, but if we can help stop a war that's destroyed dozens of worlds, that's exactly what humanity should do for its first act in the galaxy. The human crew prepared for their next mission. They were no longer just visitors to the galactic community. They had become players in a conflict that had raged for centuries. The meeting with the Resistance had gone well. For 2 weeks after, the Defiant moved carefully through enemy space with their help. Captain Carter stood on the bridge, looking at a holographic map showing their current position. Sir, urgent message coming in, Olivia Lane called out. Her face was pale as she listened to her headset. The Arcturus forces have deployed their planet killer weapon. They're targeting an Orion colony world with millions of people. Carter's jaw tightened. Show me. The main screen changed to show a massive Arcturus ship. It was much larger than any they had seen before. A bright beam of energy shot from its front toward a green planet. "How long until it hits?" Carter asked. 4 hours, Wright answered. "The beam moves slower than light speed." "Can it be stopped?" Peterson, who had been studying alien weapons, stepped forward. "Maybe. The weapon creates a tunnel through space. If we could disrupt that tunnel, the energy would disperse." "Could the Defiant do that?" Carter asked. "Not alone," Peterson said, "but we've modified our main cannon with Arcturus technology. If we get close enough to the energy beam, we might be able to collapse it." Carter nodded. "Then that's what we'll do. Set course to intercept that beam." The Defiant raced through space. Several Arcturus patrol ships tried to stop them, but the human vessel was faster and more agile. They'd reached the energy beam with only an hour to spare. "Get us alongside it," Carter ordered. "Peterson, is your weapon ready?" "Yes, sir. But we'll need to be very close. Dangerous close." "Do it." The Defiant moved next to the massive energy beam. Up close, it looked like a river of fire flowing through space. The ship shook as they got closer. "Hull temperature rising," Martins reported. "We can't stay here long." "Fire when ready," Carter said. Peterson activated the modified weapon. A strange pulse shot from the Defiant into the energy beam. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the beam began to flicker and break apart. Suddenly, it collapsed completely, the energy dispersing harmlessly into space. "We did it," Peterson shouted. Cheers filled the bridge, but they didn't last long. Dozens of Arcturus ships appeared on their sensors, moving to attack. "Get us out of here," Carter ordered. The Defiant jumped to high speed, barely escaping. Later that day, Lane made another discovery. "Captain, I've decoded more enemy transmissions. I found locations of prison camps. They're holding political prisoners from both the Arcturus and Orion sides." "People who oppose the war?" Collins asked. "Yes. Many are scientists and leaders. Some have been missing for years." Lieutenant Ross stepped forward. "Sir, if we could free them, they might help us find who's really behind this war." Carter agreed. "Prepare a rescue team." Ross led a small group to the closest prison camp. They wore stolen Arcturus uniforms and used codes provided by the Resistance. They entered the facility quietly and found hundreds of prisoners. "We're here to help," Ross told them. "We came on the human ship." An older alien with green skin looked surprised. "Humans? The stories are true? You fight for both sides." "We fight for those who can't fight for themselves," Ross explained as they freed the prisoners. Among them were scientists who had studied the strange orders that kept the war going. "We found patterns," one told Ross. "Someone is profiting from worlds destroyed in battle. They take resources from the ruins." Back on the Defiant, word of their actions spread quickly through Resistance channels. More aliens began to question why they were fighting. Stories about the strange humans who didn't care about territory or power, but about saving innocent lives, traveled from ship to ship. "Sir," Lane reported a few days later, "we're receiving messages from groups on both sides. They want to talk to the humans who saved the colony and freed the prisoners." Carter nodded. "Good. The more allies we have, the better chance we have of ending this war and finding our way home." The tide was beginning to turn, not because of the Defiant's weapons, but because of the human values that guided its crew. The U.S. Defiant floated in space near a small moon. Captain Carter waited in the meeting room. The door opened, and Lieutenant Ross entered with a tall, gray-skinned alien. "Captain, this is Commander Vexnar," Ross said. "He led an Arcturus battle group, but he's turned against his leaders." Vexnar bowed slightly. "Your actions have opened many eyes, Captain. The attack on the colony world showed that our leaders care nothing for innocent lives." "Can we trust him?" Martins asked quietly. "He brought 20 ships with him," Ross said, "all filled with soldiers who refused to follow orders to kill civilians." Carter studied the alien commander. "Why come to us?" We're just one ship. One ship that has done what entire fleets could not, Vexnar replied. You stopped a planet killer. You rescued prisoners no one could find. And you fight for what is right, not for land or power. He paused. My people are tired of war. We want to help end it. Later that day, Carter called his officers together. We have allies now, but they were enemies yesterday. We need to be careful. Collins nodded. I've been studying the information from the freed prisoners. Look at this. She showed them a datapad. They found evidence of a group called the Architects. They seem to be the ones extending the war. Why would anyone want to keep a war going for hundreds of years? Howard asked. Resources, Collins explained. When planets are destroyed or abandoned, the Architects move in and take everything valuable. They've harvested dozens of ruined worlds. They're profiting from death, Carter said grimly. Peterson had been teaching human fighting methods to their new allies. The Arcturus and Orion forces trained to fight in rigid patterns. He told Carter, we're showing them how to be unpredictable, like humans. Meanwhile, Howard had made a discovery in her medical lab. Captain, I need to show you something. Carter followed her to the lab where she pointed to a screen. Both sides have been hit with this bioweapon. It makes people aggressive and less able to think clearly. I found traces in prisoners from both sides. Can you treat it? Howard nodded. I've developed a cure using human antibiotics combined with alien medicine. It works on both species. Who would use a bioweapon on both sides? Carter wondered. The Architects, Collins said from the doorway. They want everyone fighting. Angry people don't ask why they're fighting. As days passed, more ships joined them. Some Orion, some Arcturus. They formed a strange fleet around the human warship. Vexnar's forces taught them about Arcturus weapons. Zekthar's people shared Orion technology. The humans taught them to work together. Sir, Lane called out one morning. Incoming transmission from an Arcturus science vessel. They want to join us. The science ship carried important news. We tracked energy signals from the Architects' bases. The lead scientist told Carter. One pattern matches energy readings detected near your home planet before you started your mission. Carter looked shocked. They've been watching Earth. Yes, we believe they fear humans. Your unpredictable nature threatens their control. The coalition fleet grew stronger. Howard's cure helped clear minds clouded by the bioweapon. More aliens questioned why they had been fighting for so long. But just as hope grew, disaster struck. During a planning meeting, several aliens suddenly drew weapons. They fired at Carter and Vexnar. Sleeper agents, Ross shouted, pushing Carter down. Security teams responded quickly, but 3 aliens and 2 humans died in the attack. The Architects activated them. Collins said as they reviewed what happened. They had been programmed long ago, waiting for a trigger. The attack spread fear through the coalition. Trust, so carefully built, began to break. Some ships left, fearing more traitors in their midst. The Architects are trying to break us apart, Carter told his remaining allies. They're afraid of what we can do together. Those who stayed grew more determined. The time had come to take the fight directly to those who had caused so much suffering. The coalition fleet moved slowly through an asteroid field. They had been hunting for the Architects for weeks. Finally, they had found something, a hidden base built inside a large asteroid. No visible weapons, Martins reported as they scanned the facility. But strong energy readings inside. They don't expect anyone to find them, Carter said. They've been safe for hundreds of years. The plan was simple but dangerous. Lieutenant Ross would lead a team to infiltrate the facility while the fleet created a distraction nearby. The boarding party included humans, Arcturus, and Orion soldiers working together. Remember, we need information more than anything else, Carter told Ross. Find out who these Architects really are and what they want. Ross nodded. We'll get what we need, sir. The small infiltration ship looked like space debris as it drifted toward the asteroid base. Inside, Ross and his team checked their weapons and equipment. An Arcturus soldier named Drav sat beside Ross. "Why do you humans risk your lives for people you just met?" Drav asked. Ross thought for a moment. "Because it's right. On Earth, we have a saying. All that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing." Drav nodded slowly. "A wise saying." Their ship landed quietly on the asteroid. Using tools from all three species, they cut through an outer door and entered the facility. Inside, they found empty hallways with strange, pulsing lights. "No guards," one Orion soldier whispered. "They don't expect visitors." They moved deeper into the facility, following energy readings. Finally, they reached a large central room filled with advanced technology. Holographic displays showed battle sites across the galaxy. "Look," Ross said, pointing to one screen. "They're tracking all fleet movements, both Arcturus and Orion. And here," Drav added, pointing to another display, "resource collection ships moving to worlds where battles just happened." Ross connected a small device that Peterson had made to one of the computer terminals. It began copying data. Suddenly, a soft alarm sounded. "We've been detected," Ross said. "Work fast." While the Coalition fleet created their distraction, Peterson analyzed the data coming from Ross's team. "Captain, I'm seeing energy signatures that match readings we detected near Earth months ago." "They were watching us?" Carter asked. "More than watching. They were studying us." Peterson showed him the data. "They have profiles on human behavior. They think we're dangerous." "Dangerous how?" "Unpredictable. They can't control us like they control the other species. Their report says humans might unite the galaxy if we met other races." Carter understood. "So they tried to keep us isolated. And when we showed up here anyway, they targeted us." "Exactly. They—" Peterson stopped as warning alarms sounded across the ship. "Sir," Martinez called out. "Multiple ships appearing from hidden positions. They're attacking our fleet." Carter rushed to the bridge. "Get Ross and his team out now." Inside the facility, Ross and his team were running back toward their ship when the passageway in front of them exploded. Strange robots emerged from the smoke. "Automated security," Drav shouted. They took cover and returned fire. Ross contacted the Defiant. "Captain, we're cut off. But we got the data. The architects are not organic life forms. They're an old AI system from some extinct civilization. They see biological life as inefficient and wasteful." "Can you get back to your ship?" Carter asked. "Working on it," Ross replied as energy beams flew past him. "The download is complete. If we don't make it, the data is set to transmit automatically." Back on the Defiant, Carter watched as more enemy ships emerged. Their hidden fleet was huge. "Sir," Lane called out, "the Coalition ships are asking for orders. Some are starting to retreat." Carter took a deep breath. "Tell them to hold position. We didn't come this far to run away now." He turned to Peterson. "Can we use what Ross found against them?" "Maybe. If I can analyze the data fast enough." The Defiant moved to the front of the Coalition fleet as enemy ships approached. The final battle against the Architects had begun. The space around the asteroid field lit up with weapon fire. The Architects' ships moved with perfect coordination, attacking the Coalition fleet from all sides. Their technology was more advanced than either the Arcturus or Orion vessels. On the Defiant's bridge, Carter watched as 3 friendly ships exploded. "We need to even the odds," he said. "Peterson, what can you tell us about these ships?" Peterson studied the data from Ross's team. "They're all controlled by a central system. If we could disrupt that control, they might stop functioning." "How do we do that?" Carter asked. "I think I can create a virus using code from their own systems," Peterson explained. "But I need more time." The Defiant shook as enemy weapons hit its shields. "We don't have much time," Carter said. He opened a channel to all Coalition ships. "This is Captain Carter. The Architects want us divided and afraid. That's how they've controlled this sector for centuries. But today we stand together. Humans, Arcturus, and Orion. Hold the line. Inside the asteroid facility, Ross and his team were still fighting their way out. Almost to the ship, he told Carter over the radio. But there's something else you need to know. They have a main control center on a planet at these coordinates. That's where they direct everything from. Carter received the coordinates. If we can get there, we can end this for good. We'll meet you there, Ross promised. Peterson worked frantically on his virus while the battle raged. The coalition ships fought bravely, but they were outnumbered. Several more exploded. Others were badly damaged. "Sir," Lane called out, "I've got Ross on the line." His team made it to their ship. "Tell them to head to those coordinates," Carter ordered. "We'll meet them there." Peterson finally looked up from his work. "It's ready, but we need to get close to their main communication array to upload it." Carter nodded. "Martinez, target that large ship at the center. That's our path." The Defiant shot forward, firing all weapons. Other coalition ships followed, creating a wedge formation. They pushed through the enemy line toward the central command ship. "Now, Peterson," Carter shouted when they were close enough. Peterson activated his virus. It flowed through the communication channels between the architect ships. At first, nothing happened. Then several enemy vessels suddenly stopped firing. Others began moving in random directions. "It's working," Peterson said. "The virus is disrupting their coordination." With the enemy fleet in disarray, the coalition ships pressed their advantage. They destroyed ship after ship as they made their way toward the coordinates Ross had sent. They found a small rocky planet with a massive facility covering half its surface. This was the architect's true home. "They'll have defenses," Carter warned as the coalition fleet approached. "We need to get people on the ground." Ross's team, now back with the fleet, prepared for a ground assault. "We know their security systems now," Ross said. "We can get past them." The landing craft descended toward the planet while the space battle continued above. Ross led the ground forces toward the main control center. Human, Arcturus, and Orion soldiers fought side by side against robot defenders. "We're at the main door," Ross reported. "It's heavily guarded." "We'll create a diversion," Carter replied. The Defiant fired its main weapons at another part of the facility, drawing away many of the defenders. Ross and his team fought their way inside. They'd reached the central control room, where glowing columns of light pulsed with data. This was the brain of the AI system that had manipulated the galaxy for centuries. "How do we stop it?" an Orion soldier asked. Howard, who had joined the ground team to help with injured, studied the system. "It's like a living thing in some ways. These are its vital systems. If we disrupt them in the right order, we can shut it down without destroying everything." They began their work as more defenders converged on their position. Ross and the soldiers held them off while Howard and the technical team attacked the AI systems. "Almost there," Howard reported. "One more system to go." Outside, the battle reached its peak. The coalition fleet fought with everything they had, inspired by the humans who had brought them together. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The final battle lasted for hours. When it ended, the coalition had won, but at great cost. Half their ships were destroyed or badly damaged. The Defiant itself had taken heavy hits. Its hull was cracked in several places, and 2 of its engines were offline. Howard and her team had successfully shut down the architect's control systems. Without guidance, their robot defenders stopped fighting. Their ships went dark. The war that had lasted for centuries was finally over. A week later, leaders from the Arcturus Dominion and Orion Collective met on a neutral space station. Captain Carter sat between them as they signed the first peace agreement in 300 years. "We owe this moment to humans," the Arcturus leader said. "You showed us that we were being manipulated, that we were fighting for nothing. Your people paid a high price to bring us peace," the Orion leader added. "We will not forget." After the ceremony, Carter met with his officers. "The engineers say it will take months to fully repair the Defiant, but we can make the journey back to Earth once the basic systems are fixed. What will we tell Earth about all this? Lane asked. Carter smiled. The truth, that we found a galaxy at war, and we helped bring peace. Collins was working with representatives from both alien factions to find and remove any remaining architect influence. They had agents everywhere, she told Carter. It will take years to find them all. Peterson had other work. He was overseeing a technology exchange program. Both sides have tech we can use on Earth, he explained, and they're interested in our primitive solutions. Sometimes the simple way works best. Rotz had a new job too. The coalition had formed a joint security force made up of all three species. He was training them to work together. The Arcturus are strong, the Orion are smart, and humans are creative, he told them. Together, we're unbeatable. Howard continued to treat the wounded from all sides. She had made breakthroughs in cross-species medicine that would save countless lives in the future. We're more alike than different, she told a group of alien doctors. That's the most important thing I've learned out here. 2 months later, the Defiant was ready to return to Earth. It wasn't fully repaired, but it could make the journey home. A mixed fleet of Arcturus and Orion ships would escort them part of the way. Before they left, Carter stood on his bridge and looked at the space station, where aliens of all types now worked together. When we left Earth, our mission was to make first contact and establish friendly relations with alien life, he said to his crew. I'd say we succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. The journey home was long but peaceful. The crew spent the time preparing reports and organizing the technology and knowledge they were bringing back. Earth was about to take its place in a much larger community. What do you think will happen when we get home? Lane asked Carter one day. Everything will change, he answered. Earth now has allies and friends in space. We won't be alone anymore. As they approached the edge of Earth's solar system, Carter gathered his crew for a final message. What we did out there was not in our mission orders. We weren't sent to fight a war or expose a conspiracy or bring peace to a galaxy. But when faced with a choice between following orders and doing what was right, we chose what was right. That's what humanity is about. That's what we showed the galaxy. The Defiant passed by Mars, Jupiter, and finally approached Earth itself. Carter looked at the blue planet through his view screen and smiled. He was bringing his crew home, along with news that would forever change humanity's place in the universe. Send a message to Earth Command, he said to Lane. Tell them the U.S. Defiant is returning with quite a story to tell. The human warship that had stumbled into a galactic war and changed the course of history began its final approach to the planet that had sent it among the stars, not knowing how much would change because of one ship and its determined crew.